evening everyone. My name is Neela Malkani. I welcome you all on channel IPMAT by LPT. On Saturday, I told you that every day at 5 p.m. we will be meeting for building our vocabulary. The session name is Vocab Booster Session. The objective of this session is to acquaint you with various words with interesting techniques so that you retain the meaning, you understand their usage, you get to know about their collocation and connotation, and finally you get your answers in the questions. In IPMAT, you will find from vocabulary alone around 16 to 17 questions, different varieties of questions, finding synonym, finding antonym, finding analogies, filling the blank, one word substitute, idiom and phrases, sometimes figure of speech as well. All these questions require you to have a firm grip on vocabulary, not only their usage but also their depth of understanding. So this session is aimed at expanding your vocabulary, deepening your understanding, and strengthening your comprehension for the passage. Because sometimes words do come in our way of understanding what author wants to say. And if you fail to understand what author wants to say, possibly you will not be able to answer your questions accurately and with utmost confidence. So this is going to have twofold impact. One, it will definitely help you in your vocabulary section. Second, it will help you in understanding the passage better so that you can answer accurately. Okay? So I'm going to dedicate this session to discussing one age-old book which has been tried and tested numerous times for competitive exam preparation. Norman Lewis is the name of the author, and the name of the book is Word Power Made Easy. It has been used effectively in building vocabulary, learning new words, and expanding vocabulary. So this book we will use in these sessions as well, but with some twist. We'll keep changing our themes in every session so we understand these words with some interesting characters, some interesting personalities, or some socio-economic developments, so that we understand these words' meaning, we apply these words with contemporary issues, and the retention will be higher. Hopefully the retention with this technique will be higher. Okay? So in today's session, I'm going to dedicate to discussing personality types, various personality types, the session 1 of Norman Lewis. But these personality types will be related to the famous characters that have etched in our heart, that are still imprinted on our memory, the Indian cinema characters. So the famous Indian cinema characters, and with that we will try to learn some words from Norman Lewis chapter 1, that is various personalities. All right, so let's get started. All right, so the very first word of this session is egoist. I hope you can recognize the character who I have chosen to depict this word. This is Pratik Gandhi, actor Pratik Gandhi, who played Harshad Mehta's character in Scam 1992. I hope all of you know the background of that scam, and all of you also understand what he actually did to make that scam happen. So egoist is the word here. Egoist simply means a person who is dedicated to his own benefit, a person who thinks only and only about his own benefit, his own advantage, right? Who doesn't think about others, who doesn't think about how other people are going to be penalized with his actions. So the center of universe for this person is only and only his own benefit, right? So ego, I hope all of you understand what ego is. We keep using this word for a person who has self-inflated way of thinking about himself. But egoist would be someone who thinks only and only about himself, right? So with Harshad Mehta's character, I hope you will understand how his own ambition to further his own financial aggrandizement led to a downfall in Indian stock market, and which actually led to a lot of people losing their hard-earned money. So the man thought about only and only about himself. He did not think what far-reaching repercussions other people will be facing if he's only centered on his own benefit, right? So when a person thinks only and only about himself, that is egoist, right? Uh, this book actually focuses on root words. So if you know the meaning of egoist, or any word which comes with ego and another word which is joined with ego, you will possibly be able to guess the meaning of the word, right? If I give you a word, egocentric, so I hope you understand egocentric is also a person who centers only and only on himself. He thinks he his all actions are motivated to do anything which furthers his own interest. He doesn't think about others. So egocentric is a person who, again, who his whole focal point of every action is what benefit he is going to get out of this action. Okay? So another word is egocentric, based on ego. Third word, I give you a word, mania. So mania is obsession for something. India is a cricket maniacal nation, right? So when I say, when I use this word, cricket maniacal nation, that means we have obsession for cricket. Cricket match, cricketing stars, you know, everything about cricket. So cricket mania. The mania is for obsession. So if I give you another word, egomaniacal, can you take a guess of the meaning of the word egomaniacal tendencies? So if I tell you that Hitler had egomaniacal tendencies, he thought only and only about himself, his own power, his own supremacy, his own nationalistic chauvinism, right? So egomaniacal is a person who has obsession with his own personality, with his own benefit, right? So when you think about words meaning, so here egoist and egomaniacal, there will be a difference in their degree, intensity. Egomaniacal is very extreme word when you talk about a person who is narcissistic, a person who is self-loving, not in a positive way. Self-loving can also be construed in a positive way, when you love yourself, when you unapologetically accept who you are, how you look. So that is also self-loving. But here, self-loving, narcissistic means when it borders on psychotic need to only fulfill your needs. So that is what egomaniacal is, right? So with ego root, we have two words, egocentric and egomaniacal. Okay, so this is the power of root class. If you understand the meaning of a root, if a new word comes up, you can easily take a calculated guess what could be the meaning of the word. Okay, so keep learning words through root. It's a very, very effective way. So we have two words here, egoist, egocentric, egomaniacal, rather three words here. And the word was associated with him. I hope you got the meaning loud and clear. All right. So the next word is very interesting character that we have all enjoyed watching in movie Three Idiots, one of the milestones of Indian cinema. So basically, Chhatur Ramalingam, right? Whatever his surname was, that's how I remember Chhatur, right? So here, what he is showing when he met his friends again, when he reconnected with his friends, just to show Rancho down, he wanted to disparage Rancho in that movie. So he was showing what he possesses and how beautiful his wife is, and where he goes for traveling and all, where he goes for his holidays and all. So that way, he was trying to show off what he possesses, right? So egoist and egotist, there is a slight difference between both the words. This man or this person who is egotistical, he talks about his own achievement, his accomplishment, what he possesses, what he has done, where he has traveled. So his whole pivot of his conversation is centered on what he has, right? So when you have this kind of person around who talks about his own achievements, his own possessions in a very self-important way and in a very aggrandized way, that is egotistical. Okay, so egoist is someone who is centered on his own benefit. Egotist is a person who talks in a very self-important way, boastful manner, a person who is very pompous in expressing what he has done, where he has gone, and what all things he has, seen in his life. Egotistical, right? So if you have someone in your life who you find showing these tendencies, just slap this word now with that person, right? So this is how you will learn words. And we have these people around us, right? Or at least sometimes they show these tendencies. Let's not put them into these brackets that always they are egotistical, but sometimes they show these tendencies. So whenever they do show, try to use this word and make a sentence, or possibly, when you talk about them, use these words, right? Making these words yours, not letting these words confined to normal Lewis book will only help you advance your vocabulary. अगर आप इन words को सिर्फ book में ही रहने देंगे कि normal Lewis के book है, I can only use them in my exam, when a test paper comes, when a mock comes, and I'm not going to use them in my active vocabulary. Possibly you will not be able to advance your vocabulary. So make it a conscious effort that you keep using these words in your active vocabulary. Try to search for an opportunity to use these words when you send a message, when you post something, when you share your opinion on a post. Try to make use of these words, right? Chaliye, next word. All right. So this is another lovable character that we all adored in Indian cinema, Bajrangi Bhaijaan, right? I hope all of you remember what he did, and how this whole thing of taking this girl to Pakistan earned him a lot of accolades, and he was admired, and he also won a lot of hearts, right? So here, altruist is the word for the action he did in that movie, Altruist. Altruist is basically a person who thinks about others, just the opposite of egoist. So egoist is a person who thinks about himself. Altruist, a person who thinks about others. A benevolent person who, with all kindness, all love for other people, thinks about them first and then about his own benefit, right? We all have people around us who show such tendencies. So they are altruistic people. Mother Teresa, an altruistic personality who thought about humanity first and her own benefit later on, right? So I'm sure you must have such people around you in your family as well. Some people who are very altruistic. When they serve dinner, they do not think about themselves, their hunger, whether they are going to satiate their hunger or not, but rather they think about others. Usually the mothers behave that way, okay? So again, मेरा humble submission है, इन वर्ड्स को टेक्स्ट बुक में मत रहने दीजिए, इन वर्ड्स को इन एग्जाम के पर्पस के लिए मत सीखिए. यूज दीज वर्ड्स इन योर डेली कॉन्वर्जेशन, right? So altruistic is someone who thinks about others, like Bajrangi Bhaijaan in that movie, right? So again, as I said, NL is based on vocabulary building through roots, right? So जैसे हमने ego से 3 words सीखे, egoist, rather 4 words, egoist, egocentric, egomaniacal, and egotist, right? Now with alter as well, there are some words that you can learn with learning the root only. Alter is basically others, like the person who thinks about others. Similarly, if I give you a word, alternative. So if not CLAT or if not IPM, what is your alternative? What is your alternative means? What is your other plan? So other is coming here. Your classes are held not every day, but alternate day. Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, TTS. Your classes are held TTS, not every day, alternate day. That means every other day. Other is coming here. आपको कोई चीज़ फिट नहीं हो रही है, you go to your tailor and get it altered. You try to bring other changes. You know, if it is loose, you try to tighten it. If it is tight, possibly you try to make some scope for make it loose, right? So that is what is alteration. So alter is to bring change in anything, right? Alteration in constitution, alteration in our plan, okay? Alter is to bring other change. Altercation is another word, okay? I'll just altercation. तो ऑल्टरकेशन का सिंपल मतलब है जब आपका अदर ओपिनियन है, किसी के साथ हार्मनी नहीं है, किसी के साथ आप अग्री नहीं कर रहे हैं, यू हैव अदर ओपिनियन, और जब अदर ओपिनियन होता है, you usually have altercation. That means you have a verbal dispute, right? So possibly you are bickering, you are having argument, or you are having a brawl. So all are the meaning for altercation, right? So altercation basically means since you have other opinion, you are having an argument with someone. So देखिए यहाँ पे भी क्या आ रहा है? Alter, that is other. Just because you have other opinion, you don't agree, you don't see eye to someone, and that's why you are having a tiff with someone. So bickering, ladai jhagda is altercation, right? Now another word. Look at this word, alter ego. So when I say Peter Parker is the alter ego of Spider-Man, what does that mean? I hope all of you have seen that movie. So when a person has other personality, other part of his personality, which is quite different from his reflected personality, that is alter ego. All right. You might have seen movie Aparijit, very famous South Indian movie, in which that character of Ami, I guess, shows two personality. One which is outwardly manifested when he sees करप्ट एक्टिविटी. जैसे ही वो देखता है कि कुछ गलत हो रहा है किसी भी डिपार्टमेंट में, कोई करप्ट एक्टिविटी हो रही है, उसका वो पार्ट जो है वो उस पर्सनालिटी का वो पार्ट उसका एक्सेंचुएट हो जाता है, बाहर आ जाता है. ठीक है. सो ही हैज़ अदर पार्ट ऑफ हिज पर्सनालिटी, दैट इज नोन एज ऑल्टर ईगो, राइट? जैसे मैंने एग्जाम्पल दिया स्पाइडरमैन. सो द पीटर पार्कर स्पाइडरमैन, ऑल्टर ईगो. ओके. So alter is other part of your personality or other half of your personality, which is quite different from yours. Okay. So alter, I hope all of you understand. With alter, we have around 4 to 5 words. This is alter ego, someone who has other part of his personality. Altercation, that means jhagda because you have other opinion. And alteration is to change. Alternate is other alternative. Alternate is every other day, and altruist is someone who thinks about others. ठीक है. तो एक रूट alter, एक मीनिंग other, उससे आपने कितने वर्ड्स को सीख लिया और कितने वर्ड्स आप इजीली गेस कर सकते हैं. Suppose there is a word which comes with alter, you will take a calculated guess. You will not be absolutely clueless about the meaning. You can work out with the options. You can come closer to the meaning, or with contextual understanding also you will be able to mark your answer. You will not be clueless. So word जब एक सीखते हैं आप रूट, उसके साथ पूरी फैमिली ऑफ वर्ड सीखते हैं. ठीक है. तो try to build vocabulary with this technique. It's very, very effective. All right. चलिए. Let's go on to the next slide. All right. I hope all of you see this man. He is the symbol of Indian spiritualism, Indian ascension in Chicago World Congress, which happened in 18th century, 19th century, rather late 19th century, and he is India's pride, right? Swami Vivekananda. So the kind of life he lived is truly the life of an ascetic. So ascetic is a person who kind of abandons worldly pleasure. He's not indulged in physical pleasure, materialistic achievements, or gathering things which pleases his taste, but rather the person is always chasing spiritual upliftment. A person who is always aiming at getting enlightenment. So that is what is ascetic. जो दुनियादारी की चीज़ों से ऊपर उठ चुका है, जो इवॉल्व हो चुका है, और जिसका परसेप्शन अब मटेरियलिस्टिक भौतिकवादी चीज़ों के साथ नहीं है. So these things, he does not chase these things. He does not want these things anymore, but rather he just chases spiritual upliftment. Okay? So जो साधु सन्यासी होते हैं, जो दुनियादारी से थोड़ा सा अलग होके अपने ज्ञान में, अपने ध्यान में पूरी तरह से तल्लीन हो जाते हैं, they are called ascetic, right? So he led an ascetic life. Okay? I hope all of you remember this निवेदिता, सिस्टर निवेदिता का जो इंसिडेंट है. शी वांटेड टू मैरी हिम, बट ही सेड ही यू वुड बी माय मदर, राइट? एंड दैट्स हाउ शी एक्चुअली accepted she became his disciple. Okay, so Bhagini Nivedita was the name given to that lady who came from abroad, and she wanted to marry him. She was so impressed, but this man, he said that I can be yours, but only as a son. And she became his mother. All right. So these were the lofty goals he chased in his life. Okay. So Vivekanand, ascetic. I hope now you will remember this meaning. आपके कई ऐसे लोग होते हैं जब आपके कम्युनिटी में होते हैं जो इन सारी दुनियादारी की चीज़ों से ऊपर उठ चुके होते हैं, राइट? They could also be called ascetic, leading ascetic life, right? I hope the meaning is clear to you. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So this is the root here, MIS. MIS basically comes for hate, right? So this root is for hate. We'll do 2-3 words more with this root only. If the picture is not clear, because it's not from Indian movie, it's from a series, very famous series, that is Patal Lok. The Patal Lok first series had a very interesting character. I mean, I shouldn't call it interesting. A very merciless character, was very cruel, kind of savage. Hathoda Tyagi, right? You can see holding Hathoda in his hand because he just killed someone when he was in school. So a misanthrope is basically a person who hates humankind, who does not like fellow human being. He has seething anger within him, which burns his desire to harm people. All right, so that is what is misanthrope. Misanthrope is basically a person who hates other human being and he wants to damage them. All right, now I have taken this picture just to explain to you what this word means, right? But don't confine to happening this only to describe this word. A person who shuns the company of others, who doesn't want to mingle with other people, who doesn't want to have a companion, who possibly enjoys his own solitude, who doesn't talk to people, who doesn't want to have any kind of relationship with people, is also misanthrope. It doesn't mean he wants to harm them, but he doesn't enjoy other people's company, right? So that could also be misanthropic tendencies, right? So these are two extreme range to define misanthrope. Somebody who harms others and somebody who hates but doesn't harm others. ठीक है? So इस तरह के लोगों को भी मिसांथ्रोपिक बोला जा सकता है, जो बिल्कुल लोगों से मिलना जुलना, लोगों से बातचीत करना, किसी भी तरह का इंटरेक्शन, किसी भी तरह का मेल जोल पसंद नहीं करते. They just want to have, their own company. Could be misanthrope. All right. So hatred is the root. Hatred is a meaning which comes from this root, misan. Anthrope is again for human, anthropology. So anthropology is the subject which studies human evolution, human development. Okay, so that is what is anthropology. So anthro basically is for human. All right, we are done with this word. Let's go on to the next one. All right, I hope all of you have seen this movie, possibly also enjoyed the content of this movie. It was, of course, a very entertaining movie. Though some of us do not agree with the way women were depicted, or women were kind of made to look like they are just object in the movie, but nonetheless, it was a blockbuster and excellent performance by Shahid Kapoor. All right, so the movie was a bit misogynistic. The word here is misogynistic. So as I said, MIS comes for hate, and this word is for female, gynecologist, a person who is expert in treating women ailment, right? So that is gynecologist. So when you connect these two words, misogynist, you get a word for a person who hates female, right? Now you might be thinking that he actually loved his beloved Preeti so much that he could do anything, he could go to any extent to just get her in his life, right? So here, it's not about purely loving, but rather treating women inferior to you. When men have these feeling that women are inferior to them, they have this chauvinistic feeling that women cannot be superior to male, right? They are beneath them and they should not be treated as equal. That kind of feeling is also misogynistic feeling. Okay, in patriarchal society, you find these men quite often who always believe that women do not have these capabilities, women should not deserve higher positions, and women should not be given promotions, or women should not be given these rights, right? So these are also misogynistic tendencies. When you have deep-seated, possibly that you also do not know because of your conditioning, deep-seated hatred for women, not treating them equal, that is also misogynistic. Okay, so yes, he loved Preeti, he possibly was crazy for Preeti, but again, he treated Preeti as an object. The women were objectified in that movie, especially the protagonist. Okay, and that's why misogynist is, I mean, this movie character is a perfect one which can be used to describe misogyny. Okay, some of you might disagree with me, but I hope I'm able to put across why I chose this, because he had the tendency to put her down. Okay, treating her as his possession. That clearly means that he has acquired her, and that's why she is his possession. Okay, so that is what is misogyny. Misogynistic, MIS comes for hate, and this word comes for female. So you have two roots and one word. MIS के साथ हमने दूसरा word भी सीख लिया. चलिए. So this is Bunny, one of the very interesting characters who loves traveling, who loves photography. The movie is, I don't remember the name of the movie, but I know the character. Bunny, right? Ranbir Kapoor. Who could have played it better? Ranbir Kapoor के अलावा कोई इसको play नहीं कर सकता था. A nonchalant person who is, who has Epicurean taste for high living, right? And he doesn't want to tie down, who doesn't want to have commitment, who is commitment phobic, who wants to enjoy the relationship, enjoy the companionship, but doesn't want to settle, right? He's a wanderer who keeps on traveling, exploring world and exploring new places, all right? So this kind of person is mesogamist. Though at the end of the movie, he comes to a commitment, he finally gets married, he got hitched with Deepika Padukone. But in entire movie, the plot revolves around him being commitment phobic. He didn't want to settle down. He did not want to, he kind of, when he went to his friend's marriage, when he came to India to attend Kalki's marriage, he kind of disparaged the whole institution of marriage. In the entire movie, he had a couple of conversations when he belittled the institution of marriage, right? So this kind of tendency when you have, and this kind of attitude when you have for marriage, gamey is for marriage, right? So we are monogamous society. India is a monogamous society. That means we believe in one marriage. Bigamy, I hope all of you understand bigamy is two marriage, right? Polygamy, there are some tribes which are polygamous in India. So polygamy is again for having multiple marriage. So gamy is for marriage. So this person, mesogamist, is a person who does not want to settle down, who doesn't want to commit to anyone. He is commitment phobic. He doesn't want to get married, right? So that is what is mesogamist. With MIS, we have three words, right? So a person who hates marriage is mesogamist, misogynist, a person who hates women, and misanthrop, a person who hates humankind. All right? With MIS, three words. All right, we had a recent movie which got released, I guess, last month only, and all of law prep students were shown this movie on the occasion of Sagar Sir's birthday. So the movie was Sitare Zameen Pe, and this is Tare Zameen Pe, right? So Darshil Safari, the नई generation ने शायद ये movie नहीं देखी होगी, or that the second movie, the sequel of this movie might have rekindled your desire to watch this movie. Please go ahead and watch this movie. This was the most thought-provoking movie I have ever seen in Indian cinema, right? This actually started the conversation around dyslexia, which was a kind of matter which was hushed, which was brushed under the carpet. This was the issue which was not which was not talked around. People considered taboo to talk about mental health issues, especially among their children. But this actually started a positive conversation. People gathered knowledge about it, and it ignited their passion to understand what actually ailed their children, understanding and their education. आज उसके बाद a lot of development have happened. But उस समय इस movie ने kind of, it was a milestone. So introvert, he was completely immersed in his own thoughts. He did not express how he felt, what he felt. Whenever he was asked why he is not able to perform in any exam, he just kept it to himself. He could not talk to anyone, his parents, his teachers, no one. He was so introvert. Possibly he was timid, he was so shy, he was so diffident that he lost his ability to express how he feels. But eventually this teacher came in his life. He emboldened his confidence. He asserted his ability to believe in himself. He was an artistic child who, he just confined it to himself. But he gave him confidence, and then there was no stopping for him. So I hope all of you understand what introvert is, right? So introvert is a person who is just immersed in his own thoughts, doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to socialize, doesn't want to interact with anyone. That is what introvert is. Okay? Chaliye. Okay. So one of the favorite characters of Indian cinema, Geet. Geet in Jab We Met. Okay? So उससे बेहतर कोई नहीं इस word को express कर पाएगा. Extrovert. A person who is outgoing, bubbly, cheerful, animated, with electrifying energy. जो सबके साथ बात कर सकता है, कभी भी स्टेज पे जा सकता है, किसी भी स्ट्रेंजर के साथ भी घंटों बात कर सकता है, किसी भी टॉपिक पे बात कर सकता है, right? Extrovert, a person who doesn't have any shy bone in entire fiber of his body, right? So that is what is extrovert, a person who just is outgoing, gregarious. Okay? So Geet, remember Geet and remember this word. Now this is another root, that is MB. Okay? So MB, before explaining to you what this word means, I'll just take a moment to explain what MB means. MB is basically two. Okay? The MB root word का मतलब होता है two. The very common word is ambiguous. So कोई भी चीज़ अगर ambiguous है आपके लिए तो आप clear नहीं है उसमें, आपको ये भी लग रहा है, ये भी लग रहा है. आप अक्सर आके बोलते हैं कि दो ऑप्शन तो eliminate हो गए A and B, but you could not eliminate C and D because they were ambiguous. So आपको वो भी लग रहा था, वो भी लग रहा था, double feeling थी आपको, ठीक है? So that is two. MB is for two. Remember Veeru Sahastra Buddhi from Three Idiots? So he could use his both the hands to write on the board, right? Another interesting character, ambidextrous. Okay? जब आप दोनों हाथ से बहुत equally, skillfully काम कर लेते हैं, तो आप उसको बोलते हैं ambidextrous. ठीक है? Remember that वीरू सहस्त्र बुद्धि. एक जगलर को जब आप देखते हैं जादू दिखाते हुए, दोनों हाथों से वो बॉल को ऊपर उचकाता है. So that is ambidextrity. एक typist has to be ambidextrous. He has to use both his hands skillfully, right? Dexterous is a person who is very skillful, जो अपने काम में बहुत अच्छा होता है. Usually hand को use करने में बहुत अच्छा होता है, बहुत ही skillfully अपने हाथों को भी use करता है. ठीक है? That is dexterous. Your mother could be dexterous. She uses her hand to cook very skillfully, right? So dexterous. A surgeon could be dexterous. He uses his hand to do that operation with utmost precision. So that is what is dexterous. Ambidextrous, using both the hands skillfully. So MB is for two, ambiguous, ambidextrous. Third word is ambivalent. Ambivalent का simple मतलब ये है दो emotion जब आप same time पे feel करते हैं, and usually those emotions are opposite emotions. आप खुश भी हैं लेकिन आप थोड़ा sad भी feel कर रहे हैं. You love someone but you same time hate that person a little, right? ऐसा होता है कई बार जब कोई retire हो रहा होता है. So we feel happy the person is going to live his retired life now, but we also feel sad the person is not going to work with us anymore. So that is ambivalent की feeling. किसी कोई अगर study abroad के लिए जा रहा है, when we drop that person at the airport, we feel ambivalent. The person is going for his education pursuit, but same time we feel sad because we fear that we are not going to enjoy his company anymore for at least that period that he's gone. Okay, so that is what is ambivalent. Two contrasting emotions felt at the same time. Two, right? So MB is for two. Ambiguous, ambivalent, and ambidextrous. Fourth is MBvert. Now I'll come to this character. This is Ved. Again, you can recognize the character. It's Ranbir Kapoor. Very interesting movie, Tamasha, right? Directed by Imtiaz Ali. If you have not seen that movie, do watch that movie. It's very profound. It has very deep meaning. Uh, the first half of this movie, Ranbir is shown as someone who enjoys um, going to places, traveling, exploring life, meeting new people, having a bond with them. And he's very bubbly, he's very cheerful, happy go lucky. Then he comes back to India, he starts his job, and then he becomes just the opposite, right? He's confined to himself, he's very introvert, he doesn't express what goes inside him because he's repressing his fear, his anger, his emotion. And that's the part that makes this character very, very interesting, right? Because that goes back to his childhood. The movie actually traces what happened in his childhood, which actually led to this personality or persona, which is dual. So, MBvert is someone who shows both the tendencies, MBvert, extrovert and introvert, okay? Sometimes he's just shy, diffident, he doesn't express himself. Usually some people are around us as well. Some people are who, when they are with their known people, the people who share strong bond with, they are very, very outgoing. They are very open. They share their thoughts without any judgment. They share their thoughts with utmost sincerity. But same time, when they are among strangers, because of their fear, they possibly do not share as much as they should. So they confine to themselves. So usually people are ambivert, right? So sometimes they are open, sometimes they are not open. Okay? So MB, as it comes for two, ambivert is a person who shows these two traits, extrovert and introvert. Okay? All right. I guess this is the last word. All right. So very quickly, let's put these words. Okay, I'm quickly going to revise all the words. So egoist is a person who confines to himself or a person who thinks only and only about himself. Ego के साथ हमने सीखा ego centric, जो again ego इसका ही synonym है, जो अपने ऊपर सेंटर करता है. ego maniacal मैंने आपको बताया, थोड़ा intensity high है उसमें. नार्सिस्टिक है, सेल्फ लविंग है, अपने अलावा किसी के बारे में नहीं सोचा. ही इज फिक्सेटेड ओनली एंड ओनली अबाउट हिमसेल्फ. एंड देन वी हैड egotistical who talks too much about himself. Chatur, right? Then with MIS we have three words. One, a person who hates women, misogyny. A person who hates marriage, misogynist. A person who hates humankind is misanthrop. Three words with MIS. विवेकानंद जी के साथ हमने सीखा ascetic, right? A person who is hermetic, जो साधु सन्यासी की तरह रिक्लूसिव लाइफ जीता है और अपलिफ्टमेंट की तरफ जाता है. ठीक है, ये दुनियादारी की चीज़ों से वो ऊपर उठ चुका है. ठीक है, दैट वाज ascetic. लास्ट वर्ड here, ambidextrous, ambivalent, ambiguous. MB means both, right? Introvert, extrovert, I hope you understand their meaning, and ambivert as well, somebody who shows both the tendencies. Okay, very quickly in 5 minutes we'll do the exercise. I hope the sentences are clear to you, they are visible. Just tell me what word will come in the first sentence. A dash puts their own interests above everything else, often acting out of self-interest. I hope all of you understand. The first sentence will be, yeah, egoist. Second is, talks excessively about themselves and loves to boast. Boastful, a person who is very pompous. Egotist, Chatur Ramalingam. Dash is someone who is selfless and always puts others' needs before their own. Bajrangi Bhaijan. Here answer is altruist. He chooses a simple, disciplined life and avoids physical pleasure. So this person is ascetic. Next, displays both introverted and extroverted behaviors depending on the situation. The person is ambivert. He dislikes, avoids the company of other people. Hate for other people, hate for humankind. The word is misanthrop. Harbors hatred or strong prejudice against women. This person, I'm sure you get the answer correct. Answer is misogyny or misogynist. Has a strong aversion to the idea of marriage. Bunny's character. Answer is misogynist. All right. Now, every day the word we learn, we will try to revise them in the next class, and then we will move on to the next word. So make sure that you have a revision of these 10 words and the other words that we learned with their roots. Like with alter, we learned 3-4 words. With MIS, with MB as well, we learned the 3-4 words. So remember all the words. Next class, whenever I start, I'm going to give you a quiz on the basis of these words. We will try to solve that quiz, and then we will move on to the next question, right? So stay tuned on this channel for this session. I hope this will help you to augment your vocabulary and eventually, as I said, to strengthen your comprehension for passages. Thank you so much.